Well, there's a gaming research firm in the United Kingdom called TIGA. Now, I am not talking about the rapper from America. No, this is a collective group of UK-based researchers where they basically look at the job market as it pertains to the video game development and publishing industry. Now, the UK is known for a lot of things in the video game industry. Rockstar North, for example, is based in Scotland. They did a lot of work on GTA and Red Dead. You also have a big part of Ubisoft and Rareware. They made awesome games like Banjo and Conker and Donkey Kong 64. And yeah, so much more comes from the UK. We have a lot that we get from the video game industry just based in the UK. So it's very interesting to see where the job market is going, and especially just what has been happening in it just in the past year. Now, this report from TIGA, or TIGA, or TIGA, I don't know, TIGA. I'm just gonna say TIGA because it's funny because it sounds like the rapper. Yeah, they just released this report that compared data from April 2023 to May of 2024. So that is a difference of 13 months, and it turns out a lot has changed in those 13 months. Now, getting the bad out of the way first, there have been several layoffs during this period, specifically over 2,300 layoffs. And then also, as far as full-time employment goes in the video game industry, it has seen its slowest rate of growth since 2012. So that's unfortunate, I guess, but that's really all of the bad overall from this report. Now let's get to the good. The industry's total workforce actually increased over 13%. So instead of 25,000 workers, it's now at about 28.5 thousand. A lot of those are also full-time positions, so it is interesting with the 2,300 jobs that were basically shed from the industry that I talked about, that basically, resulted in 2,300 layoffs. There was still an addition of 3,900 full-time positions within the gaming industry. That's awesome. Now, the most interesting thing by far from this report that really stuck out to me, and that a lot of people are reporting on as well, is what it sheds light on as far as freelance work within the video game industry. Now, if you don't know, freelance basically just means you're kind of self-employed, I guess you could call it. You're working contract to contract. You kind of just have your own schedule. You don't just work for one industry. You can do several different jobs and tasks for a bunch of different companies, or specifically just one. Now, here's the thing. The percentage of the game development industry that is made up of freelance work has actually tripled within this 13-month period. Yeah, in 2023, 4.4% of the video game industry was made up of freelance work, and in 2024, that rose to 12.7%. I think this is cool for a variety of different reasons, but I also just think that overall, it's an obvious symptom of all of these layoffs that we have seen, mainly since like 2021, 22. I mean, yes, on one hand, we've seen that they've actually added more full-time jobs than they have cut them in the past year, but at the same time, you have to factor in that with all of these layoffs, a lot of those people that got laid off, well, I mean, they didn't just stop working. I mean, they can't do that, obviously. So a lot of them probably just turned to freelance work. It kind of probably just made sense. And freelance work can be really good for positions like this. I'm seeing that they're talking about a lot of freelance work that's done at least in the UK video games market. It can be stuff like quality assurance, and a lot of that can just be a work from home job. You know, as we've seen with a lot of unions protesting and striking certain video game companies, there can be a lot of discrepancies that people have when they are employed in that market. So with freelance work, that is kind of one positive of it. You kind of just do things at your own pace and you play by your own rules. So overall, I think this is really cool. I mean, the amount of full-time jobs has increased, and the percentage of the UK job market for the video game industry that is made up of freelance work has tripled. It was really discouraging for about a year or two to see just news story after news story regarding video game development and publishers. It just wasn't looking good. Things had really took a decline after a great period for them during the 2020 and 2021 period. So now with this report, at least for the UK, it is awesome to see things finally bounce back. But while things bounce back, it's also interesting to see that not everything is the same. Some things like freelance work are much different now, and I have to wonder if things are going to stay that way.